if I get like say for instance, I was going to get like a plot of land for maybe a couple $1,000s or something like that. I would start a community garden there, and then my ideal plan would be that by the time that it comes harvest time, that the application can be done or put together, or the MVP can be put together to where I could be able to sell that produce on the app.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so then now it's like that would be like like for instance a produce matrix, community garden or whatever it is that now would serve as kind of like the smaller concept to my hydroponic idea that I have, but it's just like the starter and saying that these fruits and vegetables will be sold on the application. And then now I would have, for instance, I was putting together some of the utility for my token. What I was going to do is have obviously NFTs or premium members would get no transaction fees, and then be able to earn tokens over time, which they can now use on produce, or discounted rates on, for instance, product merchandise and different things like that. And then also the tokens can be earned at events. Events would be, like I said, maybe partnerships with agricultural companies and things like that, talking about how sustainable growing, better eating, or whatever it may be. Also the community garden event. So for instance, I think we talked about it a little bit, kind of the bounty concept, to where you could be able to come and get tokens for, coming and watering the plants, weeding the garden or stuff like that. And then be able to earn those to be able to use again in the application. I was looking more into the SNAP and EBT side of things, to have that integration. So the 3 payment systems would be, you would have cash, you would have cryptocurrency, and then you would have SNAP and EBT. So SNAP and EBT, they have like a token system that's accepted at like farmers markets. And it's already on a token system. So I was like, if I can figure out some way to.
When you say cash, do you mean Cash App or literally cash?
Like Cash App, like Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all those easy things, and then probably some type of simple bank connection integration to where like they can connect like Plaid or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To where it's like, okay, if I don't have Cash App or Venmo or PayPal, I can connect to my corresponding bank or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, so I was just putting together those things. I'll send over. Matter of fact, I was even supposed to do that today. I'll do it when we get done here later. I'll send over the pitch deck.
Okay.
It's like 7-8 slides. This is like my 5 to 7 minute pitch deck, so it's not too detailed. I try to really keep it simple. If you got any pointers that I need to add to there, like I said, this would probably be for if I was to go to present at a digital sandbox, so that way they understand the simple concept of it. I didn't really get into detail with the numbers. It's just getting the basic concept across.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, they'll want to see some amount of numbers, but like we'll see what you have, and then we can work from there.
Yeah. So right now, most of it was specifically, and obviously this is where I probably would add more numbers, but like I just had specific numbers on food insecurity, specifically on college campuses. The issue specifically tailored on how it's particularly first generation, primarily women, lower income, and LGBT community members. That's most prevalent with food insecurity. Numbers wise, I got some other statistics on like how much food is wasted at college campuses and stuff like that. I didn't have for like business wise, obviously for the numbers. I mean, it'd be because I was thinking about probably like a 9. It was going to most likely be freemium to start, and then have a $9.99 model so that way you wouldn't have that ad. You have the choice of earning, and then also the ability to not have ads and different things like that. And those all obvious premium quote NFT perks that they would get. And then the vendor fee, I think I put at $29.99. just to start. Like I said, it's just a starting number. I don't know if that's most ethical. My thought process is, if you're a vendor and it only costs you $30 and we're giving you access to more people for $30 a month, your return on investment is make more than $30 worth of sales, really. So if I'm looking at like an overhead side, and I mean, I guess maybe transportation and stuff like that too, if I do have to have them take it to a central location. But
yeah. And you could always try the Amazon model, which would be like charge them $2 per transaction or $30 a month.
yeah. So
At
basically,
a certain point, they cap out and want to choose the $30 a month, anyways.
yeah. So I mean, it's multitude of ways, and obviously, like I said, and then I'll get to right now. I put the advisory board on there.
Okay.
So I got you, Sarah. She's helping me with like looking into the grants. Kevin on the advisory side of things. Craig Moore, Jim Starsave, and that's basically about it that I've really kind of talked to.
Cool.
So I'll probably have those on the team. So I'll have a team slide because it was either that or just put a picture of my dog. So it was like, let me look a little more professional and say I have some other people like I'm talking to about it. So, but
yeah, but your dog maybe for sure, because you were doing the meme coin thing, pushing it maybe more on your community, on your crowd. It could be a differentiator for sure on the marketing end.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like I said, I mean, there's a lot of things we can do on that, but yeah. So I'll get you the before we get too sidetracked on it, but I'll get you over the pitch deck and then so that way you can look over and see what I possibly need and whatever suggestions you may have.
Cool, absolutely.
All
And
right.
then Sarah's looking into the grant programs that might be in place to help with food insecurity on college campuses and stuff.
Yeah, so she's gonna help me looking into those, and I'll send over. She's not like actively like looking into, so like I'll just like send them over to her, and then we'll like set up a meeting and see what works and stuff like that. So she's helping on that side of things.
That's awesome. Yeah, I just talked to her about helping me maybe evaluate some like crypto grants or some federal grants for like software and like AI tech stuff.
Yeah, bro, I'm telling you, like, because especially too, like us, like we need all the grants that we can get. I'm not trying to pay back any money. I'm like, I love investors, but like I'm not really trying to be like promising you equity and all this other stuff when I'm like, hopefully this stuff works. You know what I mean?
All of the above, right? I'm
Yeah,
just like, we need capital. Just like get this rocket ship off the ground.
exactly,
That's what
bro.
we're missing. Or
Exactly.
customers. Any like, capital can come from deep pockets or from people who believe in, the software, the
Believe
business.
in the dream, man. Believe in the dream. But speaking of, bro, we can even talk about it. Shit, we ain't really had a chance to even talk about it because everything happened so quickly. Man, a lot of stuff happened with OpenAI, man. Like the man Sam Altman went from fired to hired to now he's the boss of everybody, and now the board looks stupid. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard like a lot of people say it was a marketing ploy.
I
They're
think so, man. I think so.
they're hyping up their Q star. Also, did they name it Q because the QAnon like like I don't know, man. Like everything's clearly just a joke to them. To I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, when you kind of, I mean, not to, like I said, and as people that are more in the tech space, not to say that what we've come across with ChatGPT isn't astounding or amazing, but at the same time too, it's really just a super powered search engine. It's just Google on steroids. It's just you have to ask the right question to get the right answer. If you don't ask the right question, you'll never get the right answer. So it's not like it's completely astounding. It's just the process in getting all that information in one place.
100%. And like all I feel like they did was take like Chat GPT, 4 or whatever as a learning model,
Yeah.
and then paired it with basically some sort of unsupervised learning algorithm. So
Yep.
its only goal is to basically loop and iterate and learn and whatever. And then basically that Ilya dude, right, freaked out because he was like, "Oh my god, it's like learning. That's intelligence." And like I guess technically it is, but it's not in the way where I'm like, oh my god, AI, the like monster that they keep fear mongering us with is here. I don't think like it's ever gonna be here in the way that they think it's gonna be here.
Yeah. My thing is like I look at AI to a point where I look at it in the matter of like how superhero films are.
Hmm.
When we get to the Ultron level to where when we turn off our computer is like, nah, I'm turning myself back on and I'm gonna learn how to never turn myself off. That's when it becomes a problem. To me, we got a long way because like what you said, it's like people that are in the tech space and like mess with ChatGPT and see the errors and the little glitches and stuff like that. They see that we're far away from that because essentially we would need the software and hardware to replicate the human brain to get to that level of consciousness. And
I
we
mean, yeah, 100%. And in the same way that it errors, I think it errors like people error,
yeah,
though. Like, and so that's probably a reflection of all of its training data, is
yeah,
that it's like creating human errors just like in new ways that haven't been done before, that like maybe we as a conscious thinking human can catch, that makes it clear that ChatGPT is not super conscious.
yeah, shit, yeah. Because that's my main thing is that like and that's why I think that it's like a marketing kind of thing because at the end of the day, it's just really they probably hit the ball on something cool. They're like, oh shoot, you know what? Let's stir up the pot and get people to talk more about like what's going on the outside than what we just came across. We just figured out how the nuclear bomb is going to work, but let's talk about who's the CEO and why we fired him and he's been lying, but we won't tell him what he's been lying about. Everybody's going to speculate. Oh, did Sam Altman, talk to kids on Roblox or whatever it is? Like you don't know what the hell. Twitter just started spinning up all types of ideas. People started throwing things in Chat
Well,
GPT and
dude, that's because the story about how he like I don't really know, but supposedly essayed his sister growing up.
huh?
Yeah. His sister put out some article like 2, 3 years ago saying her brothers like tortured her in a bunch of different ways. I'm sure like there was a lot of just like, really rough housing and like annoying older brother shit, but she also said like sexual assault.
Whoa,
So,
whoa.
and it was unclear to me whether it was Sam or Jack or what exactly she was referring to. So like I whatever, but I think that's where a lot of the speculation spiraled from is her original article that she put out.
That's some crazy stuff. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, it's
dude,
just
I'm like freaking out about the not like freaking out, but like I'm super like interested in the whole Elon Musk thing right now.
what's going on with Elon? Because Elon's been he's been up in arms about a whole lot of things. He's been oh
He basically just shut off Starlink in Gaza. And he did so basically because he's bending the knee because Twitter's advertisers were fleeing and it was already struggling with advertising revenue, but the whole anti Semitism kind of smear campaign because he was pro Palestine. Um, yeah, basically,
what? So they're doing what they do again.
he basically got bought. So he said Twitter will never bend the knee. It is a free speech platform, but nope, it's bending the knee. I mean, it probably will not censor anything. So like
But
whatever.
but they're like, hey, like you're not about to just do what you thought you were about to do.
Right,
Just because
exactly.
you
They're
run Twitter doesn't mean you're just gonna talk crazy on here. And
like we understand you're gonna get to keep some amount of anti-Israeli discourse on there, but you're not gonna get to like support God like Gaza with Starlink. So shut that shit off right now. You're routing it through us first. And he basically is agreeing to that. And I don't know anything else about how media and messaging may or may not change on the app formerly known as Twitter. But like one wants to speculate when you hear the thing about Starlink, and obviously he was over there meeting with everyone firsthand, and it's like October 7th is a tragedy. I'm not saying that. But I'm also saying that this event didn't just start on October 7th. It goes back to 1948. It goes back to the 1800s if you really think about it. So history has its earlier moments that lead to these pivot points and whatever. So it's just interesting. Like that to me feels like the bigger story, even than the Sam Altman thing, is how Twitter is like quietly bending the knee and getting like rolled over.
Even the richest man in the world. Well, I mean, that's the thing, is just it just proves the point that you're only as powerful as you think. I mean, not even to say as you think you are, because it's like people think that Elon Musk should be this all powerful thing, or even Jeff Bezos, but he's like, he has to answer to his shareholders. He has to answer to the people that pay for his advertisements. If Disney and ESPN and all those people are pulling advertisements from Twitter, and those are the biggest spenders, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your opinion is. You're going to have to adhere to that or find a better audience to supplant that. That's it.
That's why you really like, it's way better to be a grassroots, like, cash flow, basically value business. Like, oh, your customer base is loyal to you, and your customer base isn't advertisers from large Fortune 500 companies that are pushing a specific viewpoint that you have to toe the line with or not.
Yeah.
Like, you can get out of that game entirely, then you've got real value. And I don't know why he bought into that, because that's what Twitter is. Twitter is that game, which, he knew what he was doing, but he secured it to his stock over in Tesla, which was incredibly like bold. He's so fucking leveraged that of course he gets bought, because he doesn't actually have the value that he projects. He's leveraged.
Yeah, Twitter is literally sitting on the value of Tesla. If Tesla goes down,
it's to the point now he's going to take SpaceX public because he needs liquidity.
Yeah, he's got it. He's got to go public with SpaceX.
It's the only way. So he can get liquidity into that business, and then he can borrow against those shares that are in the public market in order to secure and shore up his Twitter mishap.
So start.
This is pure speculation, clearly. Like, this is my hypothesis, but like,
it makes sense. It's like, how sustainable is it going to be being privately owned? It's not. Like,
I mean, it can be. Like, the thing is, the benefit of being privately owned up until next year was that nobody could see your balance sheets. Now the IRS is going to be able to see your balance sheets.
Oh, that's a new rule that they're making now?
Yeah, basically.
Well, might as well everybody go public now. What's the point?
Right. No, I mean, they're basically forcing every company to be public without being public, with none of the benefits. But the good news is the blockchain is going to enable everyone to be public by default easily.
That's what I was literally about to say, bro. I was like,
I stole your fucking thunder, man. No,
you threw the alley-oop perfect. I was just looking. I was just like, well, I mean, then it sounds like everything's about to be open source. I mean, at this point, it's like, what's the point? If everybody has to be public, whether you're publicly owned or privately owned, then might as well make everything open source. Unlike OpenAI, even though we're using their using their tool and platform.
Dude, I don't know how active you've been in the NFT Central Twitter chat, but AJ's been poking fun at him a decent amount with the BitTensor stuff, or he's been talking about BitTensor and like Tau, which I think is their coin. But they're another company like Playhouse that's, or I guess DAO is probably what they would call themselves, not a company. But they're like Playhouse, going after the decentralized information system, trying to build networks to support decentralized AI.
Yeah.
And essentially their joke was, be the real open AI.
I think that people are going to be playing on that for a while, because I think we had the conversation about it. It's like, you will lose, a closed system will lose to an open system.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that think the opposite and argue the opposite, that the consumer is going to lose without having centralized gatekeeping AI systems in place. And I think that's a censorship propagandist, like fascist viewpoint, honestly. Like, oh, you don't know what's good for you, so we need to gatekeep it and only give people that we've approved of to be able to curate models that you use. And I get it, it's like a credentialing system. It's just I don't trust credentialers the way that credentialing's done today. Because you see a lot of people with fancy degrees who are kind of idiots, if you ask me.
Oh yeah.
And this is coming from someone with degrees. I mean, like if you look at my grades, I did terrible. So, I'm a bad student, but
Hey, you
I'm
never.
clearly learning the material, I think.
Everybody's degree starts with a D.
Yeah.
That's what I say, man. Everybody's degree starts with a D, bro. So, man, look,
If you ain't failing, you ain't trying.
exactly, bro. But shoot, you said that I remember you reached out and you said that you had some topics that you wanted to throw into the chat this time to get cranked up. So, what'd you have? What'd you have cranked up for this time for a possible subject or topic?
No, truthfully, I mean, I might have, but I'm blanking right now, and I do not remember any topics that I had
Ah,
lined up.
I
I've
do
been
have I do have an idea though. I do have an idea that I
okay.
do want to throw it. Okay,
Yeah,
so
let's go for it.
all right, so I want to put together a a vending machine project.
Okay.
So basically what I want to do is I want to have local businesses. So it's going to be local food and snack businesses here in the Kansas City area. That basically I would now have vending machines and you'll be able to kind of rent out a space in the vending machine. So then now, for instance, if I'm a cookie business, I can be able to rent out this little rack for, I don't know, 10, $15 a month. Some rinky didn't come out. But then now you rent that amount, and then now you get to put in the stuff, and then basically you would get from whatever slot amount you get, then now you would sell it. So then now for a lot of these smaller businesses, and I'll speak like I said from the black and brown community, there's a lot of people that do food and different things like that, but they're kind of restricted only to vending opportunities. So
Mm.
my thought process was, why don't they start putting their products in vending machines, which is basically easy marketing, because now if you have your snacks and food and co-working spaces and different things like that, people are more
So,
inclined to do that.
so a good example of the type of business that you're talking about is like Mighty Bites.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so businesses like that. Shoot, who else can I think of food wise right now? Oh man.
Because one of the challenges I see is like freshness and like keeping and maintaining the food products that are in there,
Yeah.
um, replenishing them, also like the the purchase rate because we don't want any of the products going bad while it's in there.
Yep.
And they probably don't want the food waste, right? To go back
Mhm.
full circle to what we were talking about before with produce matrix.
Yeah. More than likely it would be, and this, like I said, it'll probably be like one of those refrigerated kind of ones
Yep.
that keep the cold drinks, so that way it will most likely be like cookies, little cakes.
Yep.
I don't know anybody that does any chips in particular.
Okay.
Um, I know that there's a lady that does like popcorn and stuff like that.
Would you
Um,
put flavor in there?
yeah, I mean, I'll put flavor in there because then now you just buy the packets. So then
Yeah.
now it basically be like, for instance, it wouldn't only just be food; it's even small products too. Because now, for instance, like there's another business that I know that's CMOS. They
Okay.
have like CMOS drinks and different things like that, and like lotions and whatnot. But like for them, it's like either you go to their website or you catch them at a vending place. You won't see them any other place in between, or you got to see them on social medias. But my thought process was like, for instance, at like a Keystone, you know what I'm saying? If you have one of these vending machines that has like, it's like a small business vending machine. Most vending
Yeah.
machines are just Skittles, chips and nothing local. So I was like, why not just do a local vending machine with local businesses and local snacks, and shoot, you can even have t-shirts you could buy in there as well too. So that way it just be basically local businesses. This was just a one-off idea. I do have some other stuff that I have in the
Okay.
Rolodex that I could throw up too. Because I seen Holy moly. Oh, that's a custom one. Yeah. That's not too bad.
Okay, cool. So it's probably the $6,000 to $13,000 is realistic, and then you probably like gonna pay, I don't know, $500 to wrap it, in marketing, like hire a vinyl graphic shop to wrap it.
Which I actually know a guy that does that too. So
You probably can get a deal on it too.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, nice. 1 to 4,000 is what it's saying for a used one. So 6 to 13 for a new one makes sense. So it really just depends, probably like on what the needs of those products are and how you can actually fit them in there
Hmm.
so that it vends correctly.
Yeah. Because what I would do, because like I was thinking about like even because the reason why like a lot of my ideas now I'm starting to think is just more problem based and just trying to think of solutions. I'm not really trying to reinvent the wheel anymore. So yeah,
Yeah.
that something like that, or even like on the one on the far right is a nice one too. Those are pretty dope.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so I was just thinking, I was like, why isn't there no such thing as like
Great idea.
small business or like local,
I was
vending machines?
I was thinking you could call it Vend KC locally.
Ooh, see, now we talking. Now we talking. Because then now what I would like to do. Now this is obviously a little more. And once again, whenever we get on here, we can pitch. Shout out to KC Digital Drive and Digital Soundbox and all of them. But shit, we can come up here and give them 30 million ideas if they just came on here and just listen to us talk about it. But I would say, like, just imagine if you had an app to reward you for every time you kept on going to those specific vending machines. I think that'd be a crazy DAO project, to be honest.
I love it.
Like, because then that kind of fits almost in like the easy Main Street kind of thing. Because then now it's like if you could like get like local stuff in these vending machines, that might be an idea that we put in that product concept that we're talking about too. Because it's very easy. It's like just going to local businesses and being like, what small items would you like to sell? Would you be cool with paying this amount a month? And then now basically you're paying for advertising in a matter of just putting your products out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's like we're just getting, and then now just buy vending machines and I'll literally probably put them in like co-working spaces, libraries, different places like that. Maybe one at like Nelson Atkins Museum if they're cool with it.
Mm-hmm. The airport for sure.
For sure, the airport. That'd be big on the tourism side of things.
Inside all the stadiums.
Yeah, definitely inside the stadiums. I think that'd be big, man. I I feel like because then now it's like you can replicate it and do it in every single city,
Oh, 100%.
and then
And
you
you
just
could rebrand it for every city, but it like gives extra physical life to the whole like DAO movement, small business thing, and it becomes a way better hook.
exactly, bro. So yeah, I like I said, we can. You already know, bro. We can lock this up. What's up? We trying to do it?
I'm game for this. This seems cool. I've heard it kind of just reminds me of the TV show 30 Rock a little bit.
Yeah.
There was this character that Tina Fey used to date named Dennis.
Uh-huh.
And Dennis basically, I'm going to say it's Dennis. It might not be Dennis, and I'm just thinking of It's Always Sunny. But regardless, he's a very Dennis like character, so it works. But he starts a vending machine business in New York City. And Tina Fey wants none of it, basically. But it's just hilarious because he's like the scrappy character, and then it's like juxtaposed with how like actually beneficial to small businesses and like helping them one get visibility within their own city, right? Like high
Yeah.
traffic areas within their own city, people don't know they can buy local brands that are cool as fuck, basically.
Yeah.
Like they want to. Like I know, like as a Detroit guy, I've always been super loyal to Fago and I've
Yeah.
been super loyal to Verner's. just because like they're local products there. And
Yep.
you know, like Kansas City, I'm kind of starting to get ingratiated in a lot of the local culture, and it's the same thing. Like, you
Nah,
know what I'm
man,
saying?
I'm right there with you, bro. It's just like because people want to rep where they're staying at, and then it's like, but unfortunately, it's like you don't really have too many places to do that. You know, it's like, what if we
Mhm.
just put one of these little vending machines in front of like a high V? You know what I mean? It's like small local businesses. What are you going to be like? No, like it's local.
Well, yeah, that one might actually get a no, weirdly. It's really hard to do that because they'll be like, well, no, you should distribute inside the store because we're not getting a cut of it if it's outside of the store. They'll charge you to put the vending machine there.
Well, we'll pay it.
You want to look at people who are going to want to put the machine there for free because they want the good publicity and good PR of having the vending machine associated with their facility. Those are the
YMCA.
types of people who are going to want this. That's why the stadiums, the airport, the Union Station, like basically landmark locations within Kansas City are the best places to put this. And
Yeah.
they're going to, in
Parks.
some ways, they're going to want to charge you, but you can reposition your leverages. Imagine the publicity and press we're going to be able to do. Imagine the incremental traffic for people who are going to want to just shop at the vending machine, both for the convenience, ease, and the coolness factor of shopping local while visiting there.
Yeah. And I think
Right?
that one of those to be honest, I think one of the custom vending ones with the like screen and stuff like that would probably be best because then now if you want to have like for instance t-shirts or some other different type of brands and stuff like that, it'll make it to where you can literally like swipe on the screen and be able to be like, oh, okay, that's because now like whether you would just basically have it inside like of a little tube and then now it'd just be
Oh,
like boom.
100%. But I think for sure step one is focus on the food product ones. And
Yeah,
because like I think the snack category is a really, really cool entry point that you identified in the food vertical.
yeah,
And Kansas City is such a foodie city. It's got a lot of these like food products all over it that need visibility, that need platforms. And I
yeah,
think it's a really we can vend everything and anything, but we need to start with something and something you're known for. So like it could be food. And like to your
yeah,
point, we need healthier, better alternatives that don't come from shitty places like people that make Skittles.
yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I like Skittles. I'm just like,
But if we could get somebody that makes homemade candy, I mean, that'd be great.
yeah, no, it'd be that much better. And there's definitely homemade candy shops all around the city. So
Yeah,
just
and then
like,
now you just be like, yeah, how much would you guys be willing to pay a month to have a slot in the vending machine, or do we have to? Because it could be one or two things: we can purchase the stuff from you guys, or we can.
yeah, and that maybe that's where we start. We just start by curating like that. That's the value add we make as VenKC, right? We don't need to establish any partnerships in the beginning. We just can go. The partnerships we need to establish are with the vending locations because we need to convince them that they're not going to charge us rent for the vending machines. That's the partnership we need. Then we use capital, of course, to get the vending machines, but also to purchase the initial inventory. And
Mm,
so the initial inventory that we purchase, we'll curate ourselves by choosing which small businesses we want to feature and buy stuff from. Now, some of those vendors, right, like that we could curate, could potentially want to float us inventory and not charge us until the actual purchase
yeah,
because they are looking for that opportunity, and that can help us also. But like, there's lots of ways we can do this. You could also get all the partnerships on the food vendors side too, where it's all afloat, and we can get the partnerships on the distribution side where there's no rent for the vending machine, and then we just need capital for the vending machine.
well, shoot. Do you want to know how dead serious I am about this? I literally already looked at a couple vending machines, and I'll fuck around and I saw one for a pretty good price. I might just grab one here next time I get an opportunity, or shit, Sam's Club has them for I think shit. If I was to get one, like you can even get like zero down and get financing on it and stuff like that. But but yeah, bro, I was thinking, and I would just literally like talk to Kevin and be like, hey, would you be cool with putting one of these in, in Keystone, like
Yeah.
for small
I,
businesses?
I think the other thing is we're going to need high traffic areas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For
Because
sure.
like Keystone's not going to be a good flagship location. It's a location we aspire to have and support just because we like Keystone,
Mm-hmm.
but it probably doesn't justify it with the traffic it sees.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, I definitely like. The ideal place would be like what you said: airport, current stadium, sporting stadium, the
Mm-hmm.
legends.
Let like we have to find a way to find someone we can connect with or know who's got some sort of relationship to one of these properties or someone who works within them. Right now, the person that comes to mind most is Jim.
Yeah, I think Jim would definitely probably jump on this if we brought this idea for sure.
Yeah, like Jim, here's a really sound small business idea that we have that we think we can use as a much larger launch point for this, Kansas City loyalty program that also kickstarts the DAO.
Mm-hmm. And then basically from there, it's just like any small business that has any type of products. We're starting off with food to start, but then now we'll move over into maybe craft items, maybe other things as well down the road. But just to start, we're going to start off with those small local businesses and snacks. So like you said, bakery, candy shops, and different things like that.
Cool. I think we should go get an SBA loan to buy the vending machines or even to finance them.
Yeah.
But then we have capital to market the vending machines too.
Ah, shit. Hey, bro, you already know. So then now it's like we just have to figure out what high traffic place. What about the college?
We wouldn't even need as much as the loan is requiring.
Oh,
Cool.
really?
So it takes 60 to 90 days to get the loan if we are approved, but you can get as much as 350,000.
I got some interesting ideas for the rest of that. I don't know about you.
I mean, I've got plenty, but we probably don't want to take out more than like the business model can support and stuff. So
No,
we'll
yeah,
want to figure that out and be really smart about it, to be honest. But it's nice to
exactly.
know we could have. I'm just like, I can't do this because my credit's fucking like 400 at this point.
Yeah. Hey,
I
shit.
YOLO I YOLO'd my credit line into Playhouse literally when I started it. I basically maxed out my credit cards, put it all into crypto, and then used basically the last bull run to pay for stuff like people.
Hey, hey, man. At the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do to make sure to get to where you need to be. That's what I say. At the end of the day, scare money don't make no money. And at the same time, too, like shit, America's got bad credit too.
Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, my debt to income ratio is still way better than theirs.
Exactly. I feel like anybody's is. But
Yeah.
no, I think that because that would be crazy because like even just being able to have that, it's very easy, doesn't have to be too crazy. And then if we could have some type of way to be able to maybe an app that could be able to track how a user continues to use these vending machines across the city kind of concept, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so like we just have an app that monitors the status of the vending machines.
Yeah. So, like, for instance, if we wanted to track, not to say track users or incentivize our users, so it's like rather than so if a person goes to a vending machine 10 times, we can be able to incentivize them. So that's what we'd basically be using that.
Oh, so like that's where the rewards program comes in.
Yeah.
And like, yeah. We could probably like I'm sure the vending machine that we'll use will have its own payment processor kind of built into the software.
Yeah.
But I'm sure someone like AJ could help us rewrite operating software um, and jailbreak one of these vending machines so that we could make it accept crypto payments.
You going where I'm going. You going exactly where I'm going. Because then now, like I said, we could just accept crypto payments, allow people to just scan a QR code, they get their stuff, and then now we can have basically it's more or less a Web3 business. We have different crypto holdings, Bitcoin, Solana, XRP, whatever we want to have. And then we can go to these other corresponding business or these other corresponding grant programs and be like, hey, we have a
Uh,
crypto vending machine business.
I hear how you want to use the rest of the loan, and if we can secure it in time, I'm also interested in that. That might make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's a high risk, high reward play.
Hey, every day we wake up is high risk, high reward, man.
100%. That being said, it could be ultra leverage. It could go 10x. Then you could lever it to make it go 100x on top of the 10x. That would
Let's
be crazy.
go. Straight SBF during the bull run. You know what I'm saying? It's super leverage.
I'm so curious how hard it is to get SBA loans right now.
It's probably like pulling teeth, bro.
Yeah.
Especially
That being said, a vending machine business to them probably sounds like gold because they don't see the leverage that we see.
I know, right? Yeah, we about to leverage this shit into crypto loans and all this.
We're gonna turn Kansas City into what Miami thought they were gonna do.
Exactly, bro. With vending machines. Machines.
We're gonna front run El Salvador. We're gonna beat them to Bitcoin City.
And then what we do is we basically turn into like Michael Saylor with Bitcoin, and then we have our whole business is backed by crypto, and we just take all of our revenue and just dump it all into crypto and double down during the bear market.
Oh, I mean, we're leaving the bear market. That's why it's like onboard as much capital over the next like 12 months as possible, because this is the last exit point before crypto fucking heaven hits.
Yeah, because I don't see, because I was looking at like somebody was talking about like just the economics of where the world is, and they're like, let's just be logical. 2024 is an election year. The chances of us going through a recession in an election year is probably 0 to none. They're going to do everything in their power to make sure that we don't say the R word. We're going to have a rough landing. We're in a little choppy water. They're going to say all this bullshit, but and not admit the fact that we're in a recession.
Yeah.
So then now, once they finally go through and whoever is president, then we're going to hear the words, oh, we're in a recession finally. But the thing is that what we know in the crypto space is the only way they know to stop a recession is to print more money. That's it. The rich people aren't going to just stay like and do good economics and be like, no, let's sweat it out and let's, like a cancer, let's get better. No, they're going to be like, I need my money and I need it now. Jerome, print that shit till the cows come home. And he's going to do what he knows best. Because it's not his problem. If he dies in 20 years, he don't care.
Yeah, the dollar is going to go burr. U.S. employment rate is, or like the inflation of salaries is going to remain what it has been, stagnant. The cost of living is going to moon so high that shit breaks. Whatever that means, shit will break. How they respond to shit breaking is what I'm hopeful will be positive somehow. Maybe it will be crypto is there with this amazing safety net that only we saw that was going to be there. But you know what? Good thing we were building the infrastructure to capture this fallout and say, hey, we got you.
Yeah.
Because we weren't idiots just buying the line from, Daddy Yankee or whatever.
Yep, Daddy Warbucks telling us that, oh no, it's terrible crypto money. And that's the thing, man. It's like, it's not even a matter of like, for most people that aren't looking at just like where AI is going, where just not even like crypto, but like what's going on with money, dude. It's like
it's all converging.
It's like everything just is not making sense. But at the same time, too, if you're like on the outside from our kind of perspective, even though we're inside of it, you're like, okay, it all makes sense that at some point something has to give.
Here, it makes sense why we're inside of where we're inside of, because we're taking that high level view and we see what's kind of going on. Obviously, no one can really see what's going on, but we have a good sense of, okay, here are the major players in this financial game. Here are their interests. Here are the people pressuring them. Here are the stakeholders involved in it. What are they all angling at? Oh, it's kind of all the same thing.
Yep. And it's like,
in order for rich people to hold on to their money, they have to be able to erase and wash over the fucked up stuff they do. So they need to own the media. And because the media was decentralized via the internet and social media, they have been struggling to put Pandora's box back together because they can only do so much pressuring on Facebook, on Twitter, on Reddit, on all of these channels that leaks are getting out and people are hearing about all the fucked up things they get away with because everyone's like, I'll cover your back if you cover mine. I'm just trying to get ahead, same as you.
Yeah.
And for some reason, everyone plays that game because there's something in it for them. Who knows
Yeah.
what it is? And at least crypto removes a lot of those bad actors
Yeah.
because fuck you, that shit's coming to the daylight.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, man. It's like we're at a point where people are working harder than they ever are. But now we have technology that allows kids at the age of 5 years old, be able to make money that doctors aren't making with simple YouTube videos. So technology has made it easier to make money than ever before, but people are working harder than ever. But then now they're working harder than ever for a monetary system that is literally fundamentally broken.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, if people put in like the same 40-hour work weeks and all this other stuff, and the money was sound, like in a matter of not being printed every second, or at least on some type of like programmable schedule of like, okay, like if inflation was 2%, okay, at least it stays 2%, but it's not even at that. So you can't even get a game plan. And then now we see why, like I said, we've talked about it before, mental health has become such a big prevalent issue, is because everybody's kind of running around not addressing the problem. And the problem is, as they say, fix the money, fix the world. And everybody works for money, but nobody knows what they need money to do for them. And money is literally supposed to just get you the things that you need to survive and get you the things that you want, possibly in the future, if you have more than what you need to survive. That's literally it. Everything else in between is just kind of just whatever.
Yeah.
And,
I mean,
go ahead.
And states and governments and banks and companies and everyone uses it as a motivational tool.
Yeah.
Here's the carrot. I set the goal. You go chase the carrot. And, I can make the carrot bigger and bigger so that I can attract the better and better people that want to chase that carrot.
Yep. But now the carrot ain't even carrot no more. It's trash. It's like literally,
Right.
it's like a rotten carrot. And then they're like trying to like spray Febreze and paint it orange and all this other stuff. And it doesn't do the same thing that it's supposed to do.
Yeah, and I mean, granted, it's because we've got mostly a white collar sit in your chair class, and there's only so many people who can think and be strategists, and we're all capable of doing it, right? And some of us are a little better at it than others, maybe, or some of us practice it more than others. But
Yeah.
ultimately, that's what being a manager is knowing how to play a situation and people, or know how to game a system and manipulate resources, right? That's how you get into those positions. That's ultimately what capitalism's about. And if you're a very effective, contributor, worker, they often don't want to take you and move you into management because then your work output will be disappear from that bottom line. So ultimately, it rewards the wrong types of people in the white collar system, so to speak. And then the blue collar system that arguably people spend more hours working harder, more stressful, tenuous jobs get belittled, even though their skills oftentimes are honed over much longer periods of time and require a lot more. I don't know. It's just there's a lot more pressure for them not to fail in their skills necessarily than the people in the white collar jobs. And yet, the pay disparity is also incredibly out of whack.
Yep.
And they justify it obviously because of the amount of money that goes into educating people. But the skill sets that they have are relatively a dime a dozen and not as useful as the other skill sets that are being demeaned.
Yep.
Or
Like a financial advisor versus a nurse in the
Yeah.
emergency
And
room.
how many financial advisors are just salespeople with a fancy title?
Exactly. I I know financial advisors right now, and this is no knock on them, but I know financial advisors right now that probably haven't told any of their clients about Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. And as a financial advisor, if you haven't advised your clients in an asset that has outperformed every single asset on the planet for the last 10 years, that's a concerning thing.
Or at least done the work to educate yourself on on the asset itself, so that if a client asks you about it, you don't just disparage it because of the fact that you just said, because it'll make you sound uneducated. Because how can something that is so speculative be sustained for so long publicly?
Exactly. Oh, for years after year after year. It's like most people,
You're putting more than a decade at this point.
yeah. And like, it's like if that's like you coming out and saying that Apple's not one of the best phones. And Apple has been out and been one of the best for years.
And granted, they are slipping, so it'd be fair to criticize them.
Yeah. But I mean, out of phones, it would just be like, okay, you're going to most likely go Samsung, Apple. That's about it.
Maybe you'll pull a Pixel in there for a nice even third place, but
Yeah.
maybe, you
Maybe.
know.
And that's if, and like I said, that's if you know it. So it's like, those are the type of things that's like consistency is like, we're not going to sit here and be like, who's the best quarterback in the NFL? I mean, Patrick Mahomes for the last 6 years has been the best in the league.
Yeah, just look at the stats.
Same thing with anything else. It's like cryptocurrency, as much as people have said it's speculative and all that, it's been outperforming every single asset. Gold has not moved in years.
Yeah, I think people get so caught up on the daily and the weekly volatility that they're unwilling to look at the larger timescales and see how it's pretty steady growth. And yes, it is highly volatile, but the reason it's going up is not just quote unquote vanity adoption from speculators, but very real technical development by engineers who are trying to build next generation systems where users aren't taking advantage of.
Yeah.
I mean, the financial system being one of the biggest predators to individual users and people's rights, which is, the whole reason the DeFi movement kind of kicked off.
Yeah.
You know, your point, they keep printing the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, these systems are untrustworthy.
And especially too, is like somebody was like, and I saw it as like on a post, and they're talking about, they said, what if you were partners with, or if you were in a business partnership and your business partner could print an unlimited amount of shares whenever they wanted to? That's literally what we're in a partnership doing every single day, when we sit here and hope that our business partner, who is the dollar, is not going to go and print out more without our notice.
That's called getting zapped. That's an industry term.
Man, it's like, it's crazy, man. And it's like we see all these, terrible business stories and all this other stuff, but we're literally in one of the biggest Ponzi schemes ever.
Well, the funny thing is, people don't realize if you look at capitalism, right, and the end goal, like they have to put goalposts and rules in to prevent monopolies because the end goal of capitalism is monopoly. That's how you win the game. The whole
True.
point of winning capitalism is to win the markets, is to eat all of the markets, right?
Very
Like,
true.
and I have always said I think Amazon is the best positioned business for this because of
Yeah.
how much physical industry they've already ingratiated themselves with. But
Amazon,
what does it look like when Amazon wins?
it's a
We
monopoly.
are all their employee, stakeholder, customers living on Amazon basics within the Amazon ecosystem.
Yeah.
And on some level, many of us are already there.
When Amazon, and maybe this is a question you need to ask ChatGPT, because I'm trying to think about how could you create a Web3 company that rivals the just thinking about the concept is just like mind-blowing, but the level of distribution and I guess integration of Amazon But now, because all I want to do is just create a Web3 version of Amazon. I already know what they're wanting, what they're already doing. They just can't, kind of like what we talked about before. They can't switch from Web2 to Web3.
They don't want to.
So I'm like, well, somebody's got to create the Web3 version of Amazon.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm like, how can we do that? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, Playhouse is, wants the long term. Like, capitalism, right, is about winning the market. I want Playhouse is in this to win the market. I think the entry point is through data models, right?
yeah,
But in winning the market, I don't actually want to win it. I want it to be open source. But
yeah,
open source winning the market is the same thing, right? And
yeah,
we're kind of evolving the concept of capitalism into collaboratism, which is what I want to call it. But like,
yeah.
it could be whatever. But it's the idea that like we're now teams-based capitalism. We're communities, we're tribes of people, we're like-minded individuals who come together, pool our economic resources, and build a community of people that we enjoy, that we want to spend our lives with, build businesses with, do artistic endeavors with, drink and pass time with, or just live nearby, because
Yeah.
like that's all that a neighborhood is. Ultimately, that's kind of what some people are doing. And then you look at it at a larger level. You think about how cities are represented, right, and how that aligns with your identity, and that's what draws people to new locations, new cities, because of the vibe, right?
Yeah.
So that's just a bunch of little communities built up with some sort of shared identity. And like, anyways, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself or speculating. I don't really know what I'm saying anymore, but like, I think that like that's the in some ways, old is new again, and we might go back to more like city-state economic structures.
I
Um,
heard the other day, and that's a great
I'm just
statement.
hoping they're not like smart city pens.
Yeah, somebody said there's no such thing as new. It's only seeing the old from a new perspective. That's it.
Have you seen this?
Is that a show?
Yeah. Where is
Yeah, everything is a remix, man. Everything.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to track it down. But basically, there's this Netflix like documentary special talking about how everything was a remix, and it's just like
It
the
is.
only way. It's the only way to innovate is to take something that's familiar and just give it slight twist. It has to be novel enough that people like are like, wow, but at the same time, it has to be similar enough that like people can make the jump and it's not too far.
Yeah. And that's why I think that like with the whole Web3 stuff, and I think that's why like AI, ChatGPT blew up the way it did, is because they made it so familiar as like just typing your stuff into Google. It's not
Right.
like you have to be like a coder. It's like I just type this stuff in, or I can just press the voice stuff and it takes it and just takes it as a conversation. It's just taking familiar things and simply like what we said before, they're not doing anything different from the telephone. You talked into it, the thing listened to you, and then it just gives you the answer back out of all the information that it has in the back end from its big cloud of internet information. That's it. And then
Mm-hmm.
whether it's right or wrong, that's for you to decide.
100%.
And so that's the thing too, man. It's like I think that's what for me, I started focusing on, especially with a lot of my projects that I started working now on, is that I took away a lot of the whole tech stuff and just said, okay, what is a Web2 version of what I'm trying to do, and how can I just make it more user eccentric? That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally it. How can I give the users more power? How can I give them, let them have their information? How can I do all these things? And then everything else is just, okay, yeah, we're just the Web3 version of Amazon. What do you mean? Well, what if you can earn points on Amazon? You can sell your Amazon points. People are like, huh? Yeah, you can't do that with Amazon. Now you're going to look at Amazon and be like, huh, why can't I do that? And Amazon's going to be like, well, we don't want you to because we selling it.
Yeah, we don't want our value to leave the ecosystem.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think that's where a lot of things, everything is a remix, man. It's like the wheel, laptops, hoodies. Hoodies are just cloaks,
That's true.
robes are just, fluffy cloaks. You know, what I mean, it's like everything. Trench coats are just coats you wear in the rain. You know, it's like everything's just it's an interesting time, man. That's why I say it's like we're really in that Renaissance time because I wouldn't say nothing's really new, but now with things like ChatGPT, it's like I sat down and I was it wasn't even ChatGPT, it was Midjourney I was messing around with, and I started doing like my own like kind of renditions of like Michelangelo paintings and Da Vinci paintings, but then just throwing like my own like ideas and stuff on it. So like I'll be like do Sistine Chapel with an anime style in ancient Africa or something like that, and then be like throw me some crazy wild stuff. I'll be like, what the hell? Because it's like stuff that you won't see anywhere else, but it's like before I could just throw it out there and say it, but I couldn't like picture it.
It reminds me of this, and I'm so bad at spelling,
bro. I swear I have gotten horrendous at spelling ever since technology has come around. Oh yeah, bro. I gotta watch the new season.
Dude, I know I'm only in the middle of it, but anyways, this just reminds me so much of what we're talking about. But also, have you seen those new like what's it called? I've seen a new like they're taking memes and picture memes, right? And they're putting it into this like live video generator.
Oh, like Stable Diffusion and stuff like that, I think. Yeah.
And they're making meme pictures come to life and move and stuff. But it reminds me of Harry Potter also. You know?
Exactly, how they had like bro. When they had the little magazines and they opened the
interactive elements and pictures and like, dude, imagine being a haunted painting in someone's house.
Bro, think about this. You were saying that you know what? That is you just blew my mind because I didn't even think about that. Harry Potter was doing the augmented reality kind of whole, concept before augmented reality and stuff was like even talked about.
No,
like
seriously.
The hologram like pages and now like scan a QR code. It's technology is magic. People don't really want to understand like technology is literally like witchcraft and wizardry and all that other stuff in between. Like,
well, yeah, and I think at the same time, lots of people actually believe it quite literally is because so much of the circuitry design looks like demonology and sigilism. So there's a lot of like esoteric, problematic things that emerge out of technology that make people who are very religious, honestly, justifiably scared. So it makes me question some stuff because I'm like, weird. Why are these sigil structures so closely related to the way that you would lay out a circuitry board? That is interesting. Why does this other sigil look so much like a neural network? That is also interesting.
There's a reason.
Everything correlates. It's very weird sometimes.
Yeah.
But looking into it is just like, makes you wonder a little bit.
Hey man, I wonder all the time, especially like I said, it's like I don't really think there's too much coincidences anymore. Like I don't even believe in like before I used to be like, oh yeah, Illuminati or whatever. Now I know the Illuminati is like BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. That's literally who they are.
That's all it is. And then the apple of knowledge is basically, do you want to live in ignorance or do you not? How much do you want to read and find out all this stuff and be aware of how shitty reality kind of is?
Exactly, bro. It's like people are like, oh yeah, such and such ate the apple. Yeah, just to figure out like what the hell was actually. It's just knowledge. It's just now you are no longer ignorant to your environment.
Yeah, but the trade-off of that is you no longer can live in bliss if you are happily privileged to do so.
Yeah,
and that's a challenge to give up. That's why they call it privilege. But
man,
anyway.
Hey man, and I think about it all the time too. You probably could talk to this as well too. I think about the times that I didn't even have a clue about this whole money thing, and I was just like, it's just working and just doing my thing. Could do a 9 to 5. I wasn't thinking about inflation, people printing money, and blah blah blah. Now it's like, bro, I really wish sometimes I could get that ignorance back, because then I could play the game for hours and not even care.
Yeah, I mean, and I've been around the stuff, but I wasn't really interested into it till later in life. And we all take our paths there. There's a reason why we're getting there when we get there. It
Yep.
you know it doesn't make sense till it does, and you don't get curious in it till you do. And there's a motivation for that that needs to happen, and it's something usually along the lines of, "Wow, I can't believe this situation really sucks. How do I make sure that no version of this ever happens again? What can I do to change it?" And in some path, it leads you back to money. And then at some point, if you keep going down the path of money, you see all the things about how money operates. And it gets darker and darker and darker, and you trust less and less and less people.
Yep. And then by the time you look around, you're down that rabbit hole. That it don't have to be down a Bitcoin rabbit hole. It's just a life rabbit hole that you just end up. You like, okay, I've worked my whole life for this thing called money. I had no clue how it worked. I now know how it works, and now I'm seeing the world from a whole different perspective. Yet I still have to adhere to the rules of this thing that I know is completely jack shit.
Yep. I
Yeah.
mean, until we can break the system, without breaking it, we're kind of locked in
That's
ish.
why.
But we're building our parallel alternative systems. They're financing it to hell and blowing it up with inflation. So who knows? But yeah, do you want to sign us off for the week? I
Yeah,
think
man.
we riffed on some great topics tonight. I just enjoy this from like a someone's gonna go watch these at some point and be like, man, these guys knew the shit ahead of time.
Hey, man. Hey, that's the goal. And then, like I said, it looks like we got another project in the portfolio. Vin KC. I feel like, shoot, we can get the. I know that Playhouse can get the WordPress cooked up real quick and get that cranked up. And then now it's like, hey, look, all we need is one vending machine and a couple businesses. Put it in a nice little location. Get some user data, and bada bing, bada boom. Hey, Digital Sandbox, would you guys like to fund this? Bada bing, bada boom. And then, hey, we're in city to city. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, that's another You Meet ChatGPT with Dr. Business and Rich No Dollars. Ladies and gentlemen, don't trust the banks. They're using your money the way you need to. Hey,
True.
at the end of the day, the apple of knowledge, everybody needs to take a bite. It's not for everybody, but at the end of the day, life is this once in a lifetime thing. You might as well get the most out of it, and knowledge will help you in that process. So, again, from Dr. Business and Rich No Dollars, appreciate y'all coming through. Catch you later.